A 32-year-old woman, labeled a leftover because her large bust makes it hard to find a boyfriend, sighs that the man she once looked down on has now become a wealthy and handsome guy completely out of her league. In Hong Kong, have you ever seen a girl who can't find a partner because her breasts are too big? Yesterday, a girl from Hong Kong asked me to help her find a partner. I looked at her profile, 32 years old, accounting major from the University of Hong Kong. Annual income is about 500,000 yuan, $69,000. Her conditions are quite good. She said she had dated a few guys through me, but all the relationships ended because her breasts were too big. So I want to ask everyone, are there any guys who actually prefer women with large breasts? Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers from around the world is a huge source of inspiration for us. I'm 38 years old and still not married. What should I do? I don't have a husband or children now. What I regret the most is why when I was young I kept studying, I kept going to school. Why couldn't I just have a proper relationship? If back then I had taken love seriously, I wouldn't be in this situation now. Now there isn't a single decent man around me who likes me. To be honest, at this age, being unmarried, I really hate myself. What should I do? I think it's my education that ruined me. Why is it so hard for me to accept an ordinary man?
Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers from around the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
I was born in May 1989. Where are you from? I'm from Xinyang, Henan. What do you do? Well, I run a home textile shop myself. I sell bedding products, quilts, pillows, 4-piece bed sets, things like that. I've been running the store for over 10 years. Your annual income? It's around 400,000 yuan, $55,000. Are you in Hangzhou or in your hometown? I'm in my hometown. But I've already bought a house in Hangzhou, in Shihu district. So, are you planning to settle in Hangzhou? Yes, that's right. The house is expected to be handed over by the end of this year. After that, I'll transfer the store in my hometown to someone else. Then, after getting married, I'll stay home to take care of the kids at first. When the child gets a bit older, I'll see, if I have the time, I might choose to open another store, start a business, or get a job. Let me ask first, is this your first marriage? I've never been married. Never married? Yes. I was just wondering, why are you already talking about raising kids? Haha. What I mean is, preparing to have children. Yes, exactly. My plan is that after moving to Hangzhou, I'll probably focus on family life for the time being. So what are your requirements for him? I'd like to find someone born between 1985 and 1992. And about income, I hope his annual income is above 400,000 to 500,000 yuan, 55,000, because later on we'll still need to pay off the mortgage and handle household expenses. So you're asking for a man who earns over 400,000, 500,000 yuan, $55,000. Yes, someone with slightly better financial conditions. That's pretty high. If he already owns a house in Hangzhou, could the income requirement be lower? Yes, it could. Because after I get married, I might focus on the child and family. So for a while, I might not be able to go out and earn money. The responsibility of supporting the household would fall on the man. So I hope he has strong working ability. His income should be enough to cover household expenses and the monthly mortgage. Your house is under mortgage? Yes. How much is your monthly payment? It's 27,200 yuan, $3,750 per month. That much? Yes, because I bought a fairly large place, 199 square meters. That's not a burden the average person can carry. Right? Over 20,000 yuan to ULers every month? Yes. What are your hobbies? I'm quite a homebody. I usually spend most of my time either at home or at the shop. Shop and home. I don't socialize much because I don't smoke or drink. No bad habits. Height? Around 175 centimeter. Honestly, your requirements are not low, but my own conditions are very good. I'm excellent. But if we look from the man's perspective, they may not value your financial situation. They focus more on your age and your appearance, isn't it? Right? Your age is indeed, because in earlier years you focused all your energy on your career, which delayed your timeline for marriage. But I believe I still have a chance. Tell us about your strengths. My strengths: I'm sincere and kind, and I'm quite dedicated to my work. Also, I'm very good at cooking. I'm the type who can be elegant in the living room and capable in the kitchen. Do you have a preference for where he's from? I want to find someone local to Hangzhou. Looking for a Hangzhou local? Yes. Your goal is clear. Right. So if he's from another place you wouldn't consider? If he's from elsewhere but is settled in Hangzhou, then that can also be considered. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me. I was born in 1986, the year of the tiger, and I'm already 40 years old this year. Single, never married, all alone. I've never been married and don't have any children. Recently, a lot of people have sent me private messages asking me just one question. You're not bad looking, so how did you end up left over? Today, I'm gonna tell the truth and lay everything bare here for everyone. I hope people can understand. Don't cyberbully me and don't insult me. Because all of this happened when I was younger. It started around my school days, when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, up until 18 years old. Back then, a ton of boys liked me. It was overwhelming. Almost every day after school, when I opened my backpack, love letters would spill out in a rush. But at that time, my family and all the relatives, uncles, aunts, everyone, told me that there would be plenty of chances in the future, that I shouldn't date during my school years, because first love never ends well. And just like that, my school-time romance was crushed. Then, after I started working, between the ages of 20 and 25, there were still lots of boys chasing after me. But at that time, those same uncles and aunts told me, you must keep your eyes open and find someone with good conditions. Marriage is about rice, oil, salt. It's a lifetime. Love doesn't fill your stomach. Remember, early love never ends well. There will be better ones later. And I listened to my family again. At that time, I wasn't particularly rebellious or anything, because I was a mama's girl. Then, in a blink of an eye, between 30 and 35, that's when I started going on blind dates. Nobody around me was pursuing me anymore. Those boys who used to chase me, their kids were in middle school already. And at that point, relatives began setting me up with people. But the men I met on blind dates said I was fat, old, and ugly, that I had white hair already. Then my relatives said, don't be so picky. If your standards stay this high, you'll never find anyone in this lifetime. If it really doesn't work out, just go back to the countryside and find a farmer. Why do you have to stay in the city? Go back and find a pig farmer. You two can raise pigs together and eat pork every day. Wouldn't that be great? That's when I realized I couldn't find a partner anymore. Then between 35 and 40, people would still introduce men to me, but once they heard my situation, never married, they assumed something must be wrong. She must be mentally ill or physically sick. They didn't even want to meet me. And just like that, I became a 40-year-old leftover woman. The narrative that older leftover women are pitiable is a complete scam. Being unmarried doesn't mean these women don't have boyfriends. And not having a man doesn't mean there's no one sharing their bed. Being single is just a label. How do they spend their nights? It's definitely not alone. Because women can't suppress their physical needs, and satisfying those needs costs them nothing. In fact, sometimes they even gain from it. So why are they in a rush to get married? It's not because of love, and not because of loneliness. It's because their sexual market value is collapsing. They're well aware that as they age, their ability to attract high-quality men weakens. Before their market value hits zero, they must quickly secure a long-term provider. That's why a husband to them is just someone to take over the burden. A backup plan for life. A marriage certificate, in their eyes, is merely a tool for property division. Many older leftover women are busy picking husbands on the matchmaking market while simultaneously keeping fish in their love lives. Casual partners who come and go. Some are kept around for the flavor, some send money transfers, some bring gifts and disappear. And their fish pond always needs new blood. This is the truth that many older leftover women live by. On one hand, they claim to be single. On the other, they say they want to get married. In reality, they're just afraid of their sexual value depreciating and are looking for an honest man to carry the burden for them. Video 6. I don't want to get married. What's the benefit? My mom keeps pressuring me to. What are the benefits of getting married? I won't talk about that for now because everyone's needs for marriage are different, but not getting married definitely has these 8 disadvantages. Let's see if you can accept them. What are the downsides? First, no descendants and no family ties. After your parents pass away, you'll be the loneliest person in the world. Second, no partner and no family. During holidays and festivals, you won't even know where to go, because there's no one who cares about you. Third, no one to care for you or look after you. When you get sick and hospitalized, there's no one to manage things for you. I can hire a caregiver or a nanny. But even the most professional caregivers or nannies won't want to take real responsibility for you, and they can't sign the surgery consent form for you. At that moment, when you're lying alone on the hospital bed, you might finally understand what despair really feels like. Fourth, no one to support you, no confidence. You say you can live in a nursing home. Sure, you can. But elderly people in nursing homes without children, no matter how good their financial condition is, don't have a strong voice. Even if they're bullied, no one will stand up for them. Fifth, your property will be targeted. You've spent most of your life working hard and saving, hoping to enjoy your old age peacefully. But once you're old, people selling health supplements, insurance agents, all kinds of door-to-door salespeople, even your nanny or relatives, will all be eyeing your savings. Can you guarantee that by then you'll still have a clear mind? Elderly people without children. They're like meat on a chopping board. At that point, think again. What have you been chasing your whole life? Freedom, care, or love? Sixth, there's no motivation to strive. You'll lose your spirit early on. Other people enjoy the happiness of family. Even if life is hard or tiring, they have something to look forward to, and it feels worthwhile. But you? No friends, no family. You don't even need to grow old to feel like a lonely, isolated person. What do you mean I don't have friends? I have plenty of besties. That's because you're still young. But once you're over 40, your friends will have families and kids. On weekends, they'll go out with their families, go on outings. On holidays, they'll travel with their kids. At New Year, they'll travel thousands of miles to reunite with family. Once they're settled into their family life, who will still remember you? At that time, you'll be wandering around aimlessly, and as you watch big, happy families shopping, dining together, eating New Year's Eve dinner, if you can say you won't feel envious, then fine. Seventh, there's no hope or anything to look forward to. After working hard your entire life, when you finally retire and move into a nursing home, you'll realize that other elderly people who have children still have something to look forward to. No matter how long it takes for their children to visit, the caregivers still treat them politely every time. They won't dare be careless with these elderly people, afraid that if the children are unhappy, they'll file a complaint or stop paying. And you? You might just sit there watching yourself grow older day by day, your savings dwindling little by little. Other people's attitudes toward you, more impatient with each passing day. Life just becomes more and more hopeless. Because deep down, you know very well, you have no partner, no family, no children, no affection, no love, no friendship. No matter how good your conditions are, no one will truly treat you with sincerity. When the day comes that you run out of savings, to be honest, that's the day people completely give up on you. But you'll still be powerless. In the end, when you look back on the parents who worried about you their entire lives, only then will you understand what they were really worried about. And only then will you regret why you were so disobedient back then. I lived freely for decades in my youth. It's only fair that I suffer a few years in old age. Who says you really lived freely when you were young? How many of us were actually rich kids or sons of wealthy families? Most people are just ordinary folks, regular working class people, doing normal jobs, earning average salaries. Even if the pay was slightly higher, it can't be called carefree. Were you brave enough to fall ill? Brave enough to take leave? Brave enough to quit your job and go travel? In the end, you didn't enjoy much of life, and in old age, you'll suffer even more. Then why don't you talk about the downsides of marriage? Whether you get married or not, there are definitely pros and cons to both. It's like a stray cat, very free but with no fixed home. Meals aren't guaranteed, and it can be driven away at any time. A pet cat, on the other hand, sure, it lacks freedom, but it has someone to care for it, someone to look after it. It has a warm home that shields it from wind and rain, and a steady food supply. No matter which path you choose, there will definitely be things that don't go your way. It all depends on how you weigh things, on what kind of life you're able to accept. But the scariest thing is thinking you're walking a path of independence and freedom, only to realize halfway that you don't have the ability or the strength to keep going. And by the time you want to turn back, the chance to choose is already long gone. This is too much. I know that when posting videos, some people will like them and some will hate them. I can accept that. But the way you talk is just too harsh, not a shred of emotional intelligence. First of all, the term leftover woman is an unfair and inappropriate label. It's a forced and discriminatory stereotype unfairly imposed on single women of marriageable age. Who decided that reaching a certain age and not getting married means you've been left behind? If I want to get married, I'll get married. If I don't want to, I won't. I'll marry when I meet the right person. If I don't meet the right person, staying single is better than marrying the wrong one. You say meeting my husband was my good fortune. I admit that I'm lucky to have met him. He is exactly the person I wanted to find. But meeting someone is one thing. Making the final choice is another. Marriage was my own decision. It was a mutual journey. He chose me, and I chose him. Attacking women for their age. Do you think you won't get to this age yourself? Even if you marry an 18-year-old now, in 12 years she'll be 32. And by then, you'll realize that 30-year-old women are full of charm. With your current level of awareness, if you don't grow, you won't be able to handle even the slightest bit of that. The single, unmarried women around me are mostly financially independent and mentally sharp. It's not that they can't find a partner, it's that they refuse to settle. Even though I'm not financially free, at the very least I'm financially independent. Before I dated anyone, I relied on myself. I had no worries about food or clothing. I arranged my life in an orderly way. I don't need to depend on anyone. What's wrong with that? At our age, who isn't clear-headed? We've been through life's challenges. Who doesn't know what they want? Who isn't smart? Whose mind isn't independent? Who is still as naive and clueless as they were when they were young? If you don't want to be with older women and prefer young naive girls, fine. But when those naive girls wake up and become aware, you blame them for being brainwashed by the internet, right? You say that once you reach a certain age, there's no true love, only compromise. That's completely wrong. If we had wanted to settle, we would have done so long ago. It's precisely because we refuse to settle that we've waited until now and become so-called older women. That's why we're more mature, and we know better what we truly want. We've seen the world, we've been through emotional ups and downs, and when it comes to love now, we have only one attitude: cherish it. We shine on our own. We're not lacking in love, nor in the strength to live life fully, and we definitely won't be swayed by these biases. If I were a single woman and wanted to find a boyfriend, I would also feel that the risk is quite high. There are scumbags, there are simps, there are men with mental issues, Phoenix men too, and even those who, after breaking up, ask me to return money. Some even dare to threaten my life. Just hearing that is already pretty scary. And after marriage, what if there's domestic violence? Or what if he has an extreme need to control? Or maybe at first he seems like a perfect gentleman, and later turns into a pervert. Or he ends up being a total mama's boy. Anyway, nowadays it's really hard to find a man with well-aligned values. The men around me, I honestly feel that a lot of them are pretty messed up. And although I'm a man myself, I think, if any woman were to date the guys I know, and they come in all types, some are obsessive simps, some are extreme scumbags, some are overly self-confident, some deceive young girls. Even girls 10 or 20 years younger aren't spared. So overall, I feel that if a woman wants to find a good man nowadays, if she doesn't have an older brother, just having a father is not enough. Because even her father doesn't understand what kind of men exist in this generation. If she has an older brother, it better be a smart one, or a younger brother, someone close in age, just a few years apart, who can help her screen the guys around her. After all, men understand men better, right? If she truly doesn't have a male peer, a man of similar age and some wisdom to help her filter, then her chances of stepping on a landmine are too high. Even if she's very smart and highly alert, her chances of falling into a trap are still too high. Because there's a saying, life is like a play, it all depends on acting. Once a man wants something, once he has locked on to a clear target, once he becomes extremely goal-oriented, if his IQ is even just average, he will stop at nothing. He can fake it, he can endure, he can suffer in silence, he can wait in the shadows, he can use all of the 36 stratagems. So when a woman is up against a high IQ man, and if that man doesn't have strong, upright values, and you also don't clearly project the kind of values that would make him truly respect you, then who else is going to get hurt, if not you? It's like a kind of fate. Because you are the prey. It's just that different hunters use different methods to catch the same prey, but the ending is the same. That's why, have you noticed? Smart women often become like men. And smart men often become like women. They understand women better. Their personality, temper, and habits tend to resemble women. And women, they become more like men. Decisive, bold, neither humble nor arrogant, self-centered, career-focused. That kind of steel-willed woman, a real iron lady. So I believe, for a woman to learn how to protect herself, it starts with becoming an iron lady. Girls, once a man is over 35 years old, whether he's never been married or divorced, from the perspective of a marriage lawyer, it's best not to choose him. People are always criticizing older leftover women, but in reality, older leftover women and leftover men are two completely different groups. For women, no matter how old you are, as long as you want to find someone, there are always men who are willing. It's just that the type of men in the dating pool are different. Some are promising young professionals, some are middle-aged divorcees, some are still energetic in old age. Some ask you out for coffee, others for square dancing. Even if you've been married twice or 3 times and have children, it's still not impossible to get married again. Last time I went to Guangxi for a trip, I hired a local young guy to drive me around. He told me that in their village, even if a woman just argued with her husband and temporarily returned to her parents' home, the matchmakers would be rushing to her door asking when she plans to divorce, because there are so many single men desperate to get married. And not long ago, an elderly lady in Xiangyang went viral online for dancing in the square and receiving over 100 gold bracelets from old men. Not to mention, if a young woman is beautiful and financially independent, all she needs to do is curl her finger, and a swarm of men will come running. And even if a woman is very poor, very unattractive, and lacks education, she still has sexual value and labor value. These two values, especially the first one, are only possessed by a very small percentage of men. If you look at Durex's happiness index report, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So why are many women still unmarried at an older age? The main reason is that they themselves are excellent, so their standards for a partner are at least someone on their level. If they were willing to settle, they would have gotten married 800 years ago. But if a man is left over, it's definitely because there's something wrong. Either it's his personality, his finances, or his physical attributes. Something is off. He falls short of normal standards in one way or another. If you come across an older man who is outstanding in all aspects, especially financially, then most likely he's either extremely picky or extremely stingy. Otherwise, plenty of women would have already gone after him. If he had been a little more tolerant or generous, he would have been married 800 years ago. And those divorced men, just listen to how they explain their divorce. My ex-wife left me because I was poor. She ran off with another man. She was too controlling or didn't respect my parents. Don't even think twice. Strap a rocket to your butt and run. Today we've heard many perspectives, arguments, and confessions surrounding the term older single women, from social prejudice, family expectations, to the real risks of modern love and marriage. Some say single women are too picky, others argue that men are the real problem. Still others point out that choosing the wrong person can be far more painful than not choosing anyone at all. But deeper than all of that is the loneliness confusion, and immense psychological pressure that many modern Chinese women are facing. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, by the end of 2023, the number of single adults had exceeded 239 million, with an increasing proportion of unmarried women over the age of 30. In a survey conducted by Xinhua News Agency, over 70% of single women over the age of 35 admitted they frequently feel stressed, anxious, or dissatisfied with life. And the majority of them said the pressure doesn't come from within. It comes from their families, friends, and even strangers in society. The media, social networks, matchmaking events, family dinners, all constantly remind them, it's time to get married. But marriage shouldn't be a task. It should be a mutual agreement between two mature individuals who respect and love each other. Instead of forcing it, we need a more compassionate and humane perspective for women who choose to live differently. Still, we cannot ignore one fact. In traditional society, women were once protected by their communities, by their families, and by values of closeness and sacrifice. Those things are gradually disappearing in today's world, where individualism and isolation are becoming the norm. Therefore, the modern woman must not only be strong and independent, but also find her way back to her roots. Because tradition does not mean outdated. Tradition is where we can rediscover the meaning of connection, the trust in family bonds, and the peace of mind in a world that grows more chaotic every day. Maybe you're not married yet, but don't let society make you feel like you've been left behind. Slow down a little, believe in real values, and who knows? You might just find your life partner not because you need one, but because you truly deserve one.